Yeah, speaking of that, let's talk about the Packers and the Bengals because I am terrified of Joe Flacco, and I never thought I'd say that.
2-0, 2-0.
Why don't we get to play Browning in his 3 freaking turnovers a game? I was just complaining about how we never get turnovers on defense, and Browning like gives them like candy to everybody, and they're like, we're playing the Packers. We better get Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco has one game this year without a turnover, guys. Guess who it was against? The Green Bay Packers. Yeah, yeah. And, okay, I take it back. He did have a turnover. He threw that interception to X at the end of the second half, but that did nobody any good. There was 2 seconds left. And if X had batted it down, we might have been able to kick a field goal. So it was not a good interception. It didn't hurt anything. So Joe Flacco played fine against us. He didn't do well, but he did enough, and he did enough because our offense didn't show up. And now he's got all these weapons on the Bengals. Dude, what does Joe Flacco have to lose? He could just go throw 40-yard bombs to Chase all day long, and Chase is going to catch 2 or 3 of those. Do you know what I mean? Like, he just is. Just throw it up there. And so it's going to be up to the Packers defense. We need to get 2 turnovers on defense this game because I guarantee you Joe Flacco doesn't know the offense. He doesn't know the schemes. He doesn't know what's going on. And that sounds like it's to our advantage. It is not, because he's just going to throw bombs all day to those wide receivers. And
he's a very savvy quarterback.
Nice thing is
he's really smart. He can run an offense really well. So yeah, he's probably like, what do I got to lose? I have 2 amazing wide receivers.
Yeah.
Huge upgrade. I'm just going to sling it.
Why is T hurt? T Higgins hurt?
No, Chase is questionable.
What? That hurts our fantasy. Better take him out, Doug.
Oh, no.
Does anyone have a cheese sandwich, a grilled cheese sandwich? We'll take them for Jamar Chase and our.
Yeah, dude, seriously. Our fantasy
team is on life support. We're in the hospital right now. We have no pulse.
The Joe Burrow experiment has ruined our entire fantasy team. We're like, we're going to get the stack. We're going to get Brown and Jamar Chase. And we're like, yeah, the Bengals offense. And then it's just like.
Then we're also going to go for the record-breaking tight end in Las Vegas because Gino's not going to.
Oh, yeah, dude. Bowers, too, is not looking good.
And he has an illness. Does he have like the flu or something? What the heck's going on over there?
Anti-Flackiitis. He doesn't want Joe Flacco throwing him the ball.
So that definitely does help the chances for Green Bay, because one of the things is, we saw against Dallas where he had a smart quarterback and he just exploited your weak number 2. And the nice thing with the Bengals is they would have had 2 elite wide receivers. So who's ever on that side of Valentine, you just go after him all day long and then to be able to get yards. But if you're down to only 1 wide receiver, you won't be able to exploit it. And obviously Flacco's not elite anymore, but I think,
and
it
Bengals
helps your chances substantially.
Now, the Browns' offensive line isn't great, but we didn't really show up very much in that game, and the Bengals' offensive line is terrible. So if we don't get to Flacco a bunch in this game and force turnovers or whatever, I'm going to be seriously concerned. I still think the Packers are going to win this game, but much like the Dallas game, guys, I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I'm picking a close win, and if we turn the ball over at a bad time, just like we did against the Browns, like we could lose.
I think what's going to happen is
I'm worried about turnovers.
I think it'll be kind of too close for our comfort, but I think Micah Parsons will save the day. He'll make some kind of strip sack, and we'll be like, thank God we have at least somebody on our team that can make a play.
Can I make a bet with you, Neckbeard?
Yeah. What is it?
Okay, Green Bay over under is 9.5. Is what I'm going to put it between me and you.
Okay.
And then if they win by more than 9.5, then every morning when we're at the renting the house for the Bears Packer game, you run your ass out to Quick Trip and you get me a big ass coffee every morning.
And if they win by less than 9,
then I'll bring you and Hype Donuts or whatever the hell you want from the Hot Zone. I love
okay. All right.
And
you know the hot tub rule, right?
Cooking.
Right?
Hot tub? Yeah, no one needs to see me in a hot tub.
Yeah, you know the hot tub rule. No ants, no pants, no coconut dance. But all right. So listen,
Green Bay is going to be fine if Chase is out.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be like -5. I don't think anybody's getting in the damn hot tub, but we'll see. All right, so we'll just do coffee. You buy coffee every day, or I buy coffee every day. So we're going to make a bet, right? Okay, so I think we're going to win by like 4 or 5. You say we're going to blow them out. So I hope you're right. I will happily buy you coffee for a blowout. I will happily buy you a coffee for a blowout. And if I'm right, then you buy it. Okay,
every morning.
Deal. Yeah, every morning. I get it. All right, agreed. Every morning. Done. Deal. All right, so let's go to your team. Let's talk about the Bears Commanders.
Interesting.
revenge game.
Before we go to the Bears, one thing.
Okay.
The reason that Derek might be right is the Packers offensive line might have like, Ryan Clark off the street, or like Joe Blow might be playing left tackle for them. So they might have a little bit of issues on offense because their offensive line is like everyone's hurt.
Yeah. I trust our offense, but again, one turnover
back there,
or one bad play or one bad decision by us, because our defense hasn't been causing turnovers and because they haven't been making big plays and because we've had terrible field position in every single game because we're not making turnovers, it can if the Bengals hang around in the game, that's when I get worried that Joe's just going to say F it and chuck it up to Chase, and Chase will make a play because he's Jamar Chase. Do you know what I mean? So that's my worry. But all right, we'll see. I hope Jamar
Stewart's listed as doubtful right now.
All right, I hope Jamar Chase doesn't play either, but we'll see.
Oh no, Shamar Stewart, the defensive end, he's doubtful.
Oh, also Shamar Stewart,
the rookie that they drafted.
Okay, this is going to hurt even more if the Bengals end up winning, because it's just like the Dallas game without CD. It's like, we don't got Joe Burrow, we don't got Jamar Chase.
You know those obnoxious people that hate pumpkin spice coffee and pumpkin spice everything?
Yeah,
you're gonna get me. I want Quick Trip's pumpkin spice in the extra large, not in the Packer cup. They have the other type that's doesn't have that god awful.
Definitely in the pack. No, that is not a stipulation. I get to pick the cup. You can have coffee. I get to pick the cup. No stipulation on cup requests. No, denied. Denied. You're getting a Packer cup.
I am in supporting my own friends.
Fair enough. All right, you're getting a Packer cup. All right, let's talk about
let's talk about the fun game. The Monday night game, the second one, that's really going to be a blast. It's going to be the revenge game that, last year everyone was excited from the Bears standpoint. They're like, hey, our offense is doing good. But at the same point, if you really step back and looked at it, we beat teams that really sucked. We didn't really have any signature wins. We beat Bananarama from the Tennessee Titans. He gave us the game with a really dumb pick at the end of the game. So we didn't really do anything substantial last year. Now, this year, you can say it's pretty much the same. We got our asses handed to us by the Lions, but now we're kind of righting the ship. Caleb Williams, his stats are looking a lot better. Last year, his sack rate was 10.8% as a sack rate. So far this season, we refueled the offensive line, and now the sack rate is only 5.1%. So he's only taken half the number of sacks, which is beneficial. The run game still isn't there. Rome has had a fantastic season, as everyone knows. Our rush defense is god awful. It used to be back in the day you could rely on us and being able to stop the other team's run. Let's see, rush yards per game allowed by the Bears through week 5 was 164.5.
Whoa!
Who had a really good week last week? Was it Bill?
It was Bill Jakrowski Merritt. He had a great week.
Old Bill.
Yeah, he had a really good week.
And you got Jaden Daniels. So I think that's going to be a fantastic way for them to exploit it. So I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun for this game, because the rushing attack of the Commander, and the way that they've been able to utilize Deebo Samuel is going to be great to see. How does our defense, Dennis Allen, we signed him so that way. He's traditionally been a great defensive coordinator. His defenses have always been great. Obviously, it takes a while to get your guys and whatnot to try to line them up, get the guys that you need to run your defense. Maybe he hasn't had the time yet, but I'd like to think that he'd be able to adjust right now. But going against a weapon like Jaden Daniels, the guy who a lot of people in Chicago at the end of last year, like, man, we could have had him. Maybe they're starting to wait. Oh, wait, the coach does matter now that we have a quarterback and with an intelligent head coach. Now that we have Declan Doyle, 29-year-old offensive coordinator who's athletic, did a fantastic article on him. Maybe we're starting to see some of the stuff. So it's going to be a really interesting game. Again, for those of you who are looking for not somebody to plug and play this year from a fantasy football standpoint, Colston Loveland, he's out there in a lot of leagues. In redraft leagues, pick him up now. He won't be used for another 2-3 weeks, but I think that if he's going to be healthy this week, might take him a couple weeks getting to form, but he's the rookie. He should be fantastic, even though Doug can show you the picture when we drafted him, and I had a what the kind of face.
Yeah,
but the coaching's turned around the offense. I think our defense isn't our defense is going to be very suspect. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. It's going to be nuts. I'm not going to be able to provide too much content on Monday night. I'm going to be making all sorts of this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a fun game for everyone, and I'm not looking forward to going to work on Tuesday morning.
The Commanders are the number one rushing team in the league right now.
Yep. And I think we're the third worst. We allow a league worst 6.2 yards per rush.
Ouch, man. Jeez. I mean, I knew your defensive line wasn't good, but that's really bad. 6.2 yards per rush is really bad.
And we're still without Grady Jarrett again. We gave a lot of money to an old D tackle.
I like Grady Jarrett too, but yeah, he was like a 1 year solution anyway. So like, you know, and you guys knew that, but I just think it's interesting because this is the battle of the number 1 and number 2 picks, right, from the same draft. So it's really fun just on that. And Jaden definitely looks better. I mean, there's no question, nobody questions that. Caleb has looked good the last 2 weeks, so I want to see if Caleb continues to look good against this defense. Because this defense is a bunch of veterans. Like, they are old and slow, but they're not dumb, and they make plays and they don't get beat in certain ways, which is, I think, a big reason why they were so good last year. And they're starting to look good. The Commanders have looked pretty good the last 2 weeks, so they're kind of on a roll. And I think this is not the best time to play them for the Bears. So I worry a little bit based on what you said, Dave, about the running game and just how this offense is starting to really start to chug along, that the Commanders might come in and smoke them a little bit. I think they might end up winning by 2 scores. So I'm definitely picking the Commanders, and I think it's going to be not a super high scoring game, but I'm going to say it's probably going to be like 27 to 17 is kind of what I'm looking at.
I think this is a game that Caleb Williams shows he's better than the Daniels.
What?
Jaden Daniels?
You think Caleb shows out in this game?
Yeah. I think Jaden Daniels, people have figured out his Achilles heel. I have no idea what that is, but he's just not as good as he was last year.
I mean, he was hurt. He's been fine when he played against.
I just think that like this is going to be just like the Eagles Giants. You know what I'm saying? Caleb Williams is going to run around. Oh, 61.
Why were the Lions able to kick our ass? They had a slot wide receiver who was dynamic over the middle, who Stevenson couldn't keep up with.
Debo,
and they had a strong run game.
Yeah.
What does Washington kind of have right now?
Yeah, the same thing.
Game.
They have the same. And Ertz is good for picking up those 5-yard passes, for first downs, just keeping the chains moving. But I also don't think that they won't have as many big chunk plays. Right. So that's why I think it'll be a high scoring game. There won't be large 40-yard passes or whatnot. There won't be 40-yard runs, but that's why I think that Caleb has a chance to stay in the game. I think we have enough wide receivers and whatnot, so that way we'll be able to take advantage. Run routes right behind the linebackers.
Right.
Rome has thrived in the 12 to 18 yard zone. I think he'll be able to do that behind the linebackers of the Commanders. Sorry. I think it's going to be a fun game. I want to say we'll win, but I really don't think we will.
The Commanders' defense is not as good as people give it credit for.
Nope.
They're ranked near the
It's
bottom.
not great. No, it's not great.
They give up a lot of yards.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
This is the game you on fantasy. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like the game can be close to the end, maybe a little bit, and then it depends which quarterback can make some magic up here. But you're right. If I had to bet money, I would bet on Deebo Samuel and Bill maybe doing that. But hey, you never know.
Ertz is going to have the dagger in the last 4 minutes.
Receiver.
Well, I also think the Bears defense is very turnover reliant because they can't stop the run. Stopping drives is difficult for the Bears, and they've had some games where they've gotten some really big turnovers or interceptions. I believe the Bears are actually number 2 in interceptions this year caused, right? I think they've got 6 or 7 or something like that. So I think that's a big thing that the Bears defense needs. And unfortunately for the Bears, the Commanders don't turn the ball over like at all. And they haven't all year. Jaden has 0 interceptions, and I think they've lost 1 fumble all year. So the Bears are going to need to take the ball away from Jaden and the Commanders to win this game. They're going to have to find a way to do it. So I really think that's the only way the Bears defense can stop them because, like you said, their run defense is bad.
The Bears are 3rd in takeaways.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they've had a ton. They've had a ton this year, and it's been really good. In the Dallas game, it was huge, obviously, right? Against the Browns, they had a couple. So, I think I think Jaden, if he plays a clean game and they just run the football, I think the Commanders got too much for the Bears right now. But I am curious to see what Caleb does against this defense, right? I am curious to see what he does. Because like you guys said, they're not a great defense, but they're not a terrible defense by any means. And they're more of a bend, don't break kind of defense because, you know, they do have some savvy vets that are old and slow. But again, they don't make a ton of mental mistakes and they don't hurt themselves necessarily.
Right.
Like some defenses we know out there. Green Bay. So yeah, I think this could be a really good game, but some part of me thinks that the Commanders are just kind of like right now the best versions of themselves because they also don't really have, other than the running backs, a ton of injuries, but it doesn't matter since Bill looks so good. So yeah, I think Commanders in this one. I'm saying 27-17 Commanders is my pick for that game. And then the Packer game, I'm saying
the lines.
Yeah, sorry.
27-24.
27-24. Okay. Okay.
We're gonna get more than 17. We got Rome.
You got Rome.
Yeah, Rome. You
do.
Next year we might get a running back. Who knows?
I think that's dependent on if you get a short field for Caleb. If he gets 2 or 3 short fields in the game because of turnovers, I bet you guys do score 27 points. If he doesn't and the Commanders don't turn it over.
No, we're gonna get the 24. I didn't say that we'd win.
Right. But I'm just saying, I don't think you'll get to 20 without like short fields for Caleb. I think.
Look, we need DeAndre Swift fantasy points, guys. So I'm saying 35 points by the Bears.
Okay. Well,
the guy who averages 30 rushing yards a game.
Yeah. I think our Tom Grassi fantasy league, we can just give up on because now that
toast on that.
we had the number 1 pick, so we took Jamar, you know, and the second round
and
pick
then we took Chase Brown.
Yeah. So like, and you know, the second guy took Saquon. So like if you picked early in your single year NFL draft, fantasy draft, you're probably boned right now, like we are, because Chase and Saquon have not been great. And I don't think that's going to change for Chase with the quarterback situation. And like Dave said with Saquon, like all those carries last year, we kind of saw that coming, or Dave predicted it. He did a great job. I don't think Saquon's going to get close.
Derrick Henry too.
Yeah, he had last year. Derrick Henry's a bit of a phenomenon, though. I mean, he's just such a massive.
Well, he's just part of the collapse of the Ravens. All the Ravens.
Yeah.
But still, he had a lot of carries, and he's fantastic when the Ravens are in the game or they have the lead, which happened a lot last year. We didn't imagine that their offense would fall off this bad.
Yeah,
because once you're behind, you can't have him on the field because
I think it's a mental collapse for the Ravens because their defense was so bad, and like that's their culture. And Lamar always made plays, and they could run the ball. And then the Buffalo game screwed them up, and then they played the Chiefs, and they totally just fell apart. Lamar gets hurt, and then the Texans come in and just boat race them. So like, I think it's all mental for Baltimore right now. I still think they're a very good offense, but I just don't think they know what they're doing at the moment. So. Yeah, but anyway, we got way off track. Go Washington Commanders. So that's how I'm ending this. I am so glad the Bears didn't draft Jaden Daniels. Bye-bye.